Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby and today we are talking about how to remove unconscious beliefs, specifically when it comes to rejection. If you like videos like this and you want more, all you gotta do, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell. It's gonna let you know as soon as new videos come out. And if you are wondering how you can support this channel, and if you really like this video, a great way that makes a big difference is clicking that like button. It really helps to spread this information and support this channel. So back to the video. How do you remove unconscious beliefs? Well, first let's get a little bit into the word. What does unconscious mean? The etymology of this word basically is to not be awake. Another way we hear about it is not being aware. So basically there's something that is alive in you that you are not awake to. You're not aware of the existence of something inside your brain, inside your belief system, inside of how you're navigating your life. You're not awake to it. So the biggest thing to ask yourself is, what are you not awake to? Now, notice that the thing is still happening. It's just your ability to see it is the only thing right now. And yes, you could be like, oh my God, Abby, yeah, duh. I'm unconscious to it. I want to be aware of it. And that's the whole point of this video. Well, I think it's important to understand the big picture of what you're doing. A lot of times in my personal life, me starting to address things that I didn't know I was not aware of was feeling like I had to run after something, like I had to find it and I had to do all of this work. What I eventually discovered, it's less is more in this, basically allowing yourself to see. And when it comes to rejection, which is specifically this video is about how to uncover your unconscious beliefs about rejection, is to say, okay, what if, cue magical fairy music, what if in a land far, far away, which is not so different than this, what if you are actually lovable? What if you are valuable? What if you are attractive? And the only thing that is standing in your way from somebody else seeing that, from you experiencing that reflection in a relationship, is your belief that you are unattractive, that you aren't lovable, that you are somebody that no one wants to be with. What if your block in your unconscious is as simple as that? Your belief is the block. Your biggest problem is thinking that you have a problem, that there is a problem about you. So when it comes to rejection, you go into this rejecting yourself and thinking, oh my God, here we go again. And you might be wondering, Abby, how do you know this? How can you feel so much of what I have been feeling? Because I have gone through this. I have rejected myself so many times. I have gone through that idea of trying to uncover the blocks. And what helped me is to come at it from a little bit different way. So what I found interesting doing the research for this video is that your basal ganglia, if that's even how you pronounce that, that part of your brain is your habit forming brain, right? So that part of your brain is also responsible for your emotions, for your memories, and for pattern recognition. And why am I talking about this? Well, have you ever gone and maybe you're driving and you left from the store or from work or from a friend's house, whatever it is. You could also be walking and you're going and you're seeing what's going on. You're thinking, I'm going home. And all of a sudden you get lost in a song. Maybe you get lost in a thought. Maybe you get lost in a worry. Maybe you get lost in like, oh my God, I just went on this date and this person really didn't seem like they were into me. I really think that there's something really good about them. I really wish that they would date me. And after 15, 20 minutes, you're at your door with the key and unlocking the door. And you literally have no memory of getting there. So that is one way to see how this brain, this habit forming part of you, what if it were possible that a little belief, a little roadmap, a little GPS, the same as when you're driving, this is how you drive your car, and when you get to your door, you know, that was a roadmap, right? There was a very specific way to get to your door. Well, what if when you were younger, kind of like a chip or a tape, a cassette tape or a DVD or whatever, or, you know, a USB was plugged in and you uploaded the idea that you aren't somebody who is lovable. You are somebody who needs to be rejected. The reason you got that upload is because possibly you were rejected emotionally. Possibly you were shown rejection, being thrown out, being pushed away from probably a tribe, right? Your immediate family, and you felt isolated. You felt that you were not getting the needs, and you didn't have to have this consciously, obviously, or you were so young, most likely, if you're watching this video and you're experiencing these things, specifically if they're chronic, if they're perpetual. You had this experience when you were younger, and you had that upload. You have that GPS. So your habit mind basically is like, okay, I know how to get there. I know how to get to the end belief. Even though it's unconscious, you're not awake to the idea that you have a belief that you're rejectable. You have a belief that if you meet somebody you really like, they're going to reject you. There is something inside of you that you're not awake to that you believe to be true. In the Law of Assumption by Neville Goddard, he says that we are basically, the entity of us is all of these different assumptions that are fortifying this pillar of yourself, and in this case, rejection. So you have all these assumptions that are holding rejection up. And an assumption is something that you give permission and consent to be true. Now, the issue that happens and why it's unconscious is because it happened when you were small. Potentially it happened when you were your early adult. Something up until this point. The ones that are harder sometimes to get to or that were deeper in the unconscious are the ones that happened when you were a child. What you have to realize is there's a situation that happened and you took a meaning from it. You saw the thing and then you took a meaning and then you made a value about yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. You were doing the best you could. You were trying to get your needs met. All is good in that. However, that meaning that you took away because you didn't have the tools, because you didn't have the emotional capacity and space to process it, you have a meaning that is basically showing you that you should be rejected, that is a part of your existence. So you have that value, that pillar of belief. And all of these assumptions, all of these things that you give permission and you give consent to be true. The reason I keep saying this is to help you understand that you have the power to unlock this. And so how do you remove it? How do you get back? And no, you don't have to go to every single moment of when you were a child or these really, really painful things. What you need to do is allow them to come up, feel them, feel that deep sense of rejection. For me personally, I live so much of my life in a strong pillar. You could say it's one of my original wounds, that I wasn't enough, that I am actually less. And you could be asking, less than what? And I'd give you a plethora of different things because it didn't matter that I was less than this or less than that. It mattered in my head, in my unconscious belief system, that I was less. So I would need to find romantic relationships. I would need to find competitive situations. And when I look back in my career, I was almost number one in several different high-level meets. Almost there, but guess what? I was less than. So I continued to find outside of myself these situations that reflected back to me the belief that I had that I was less than. So if you're watching this video and you continually experience rejection, that was a subcategory of what I experienced, because I was less than what I needed to be in my head of what I perceived when I was a child. I was less than that, and so I didn't measure up. So when I went in romantic situations, I found so much rejection because I didn't measure up. So the only reflection I could find was a situation in which I didn't measure up. The one thing that I would highly recommend after watching this video, and even now, is to just ask yourself, what if there is nothing wrong with you? What if you are lovable, you're whole and complete, and there are not just one person out there. There are several people out there, hundreds, thousands, I'm not sure. There's a lot of people on this planet that would absolutely fall head over heels. Imagine that, hundreds of people. Now you're like, whoa, how do I even start to, get to know these people? There's so many. Well, you have to, the only way you can find them and unlock this code, right? Like put on the glasses of people who will have that reflection back to you, is when you find it in yourself. When you find why you feel that you are needing to be rejected. What value and what happened when you were a child? What meaning did you give that situation? Because you do deserve love. You are whole and complete, no matter what it feels like. Those are going back to that basal ganglia of what the emotional development, your pattern recognition, and your memories are forming these habits. And these habits are based on that idea, in this specific case, rejection. So you're going through all those filters of those hard memories of rejection, pattern recognition, looking for rejection, using your RAS to see, okay, I'm going to filter out 50 million bits of information that I'm getting per second, and I'm going to find the 40 bits that show me that I need to be rejected, that all I'll find in my life when I go towards something that I want is rejection. And I am here, and I made this video to tell you that that's not true. You can continue to choose to live in that. However, it's not true. There is another experience that you can have in this life. The first thing you need to do is to start recognizing how you're participating in that pattern. Where did you basically hand over your power and receive this belief, and now you're accepting it to be absolutely true? Is there something you can find in your life right now that proves that you are capable of being loved, of being accepted, and that anything that happened in the past, that has helped you? And when you can take out the emotional intensity and feel and heal, when you feel, you can heal that wound. You take that out, and now you've transformed all of those intense memories into wisdom, all those painful things into wisdom. So now when you go forward and you have those emotional tools and you increase that emotional capacity inside of you, think of how much deep and more intimate, and I mean that allowing somebody to see into you. That is my interpretation of intimacy. Imagine how much stronger and more rich those connections can be. The thing that you really are craving, the one thing you need to do is go and find it deep inside yourself. You hold the keys. The key to unlocking that belief, that unconscious belief, is to start recognizing and waking up to its existence in your life right now. How are you playing in? How are you looking for it? If you find somebody who you want to go out with, one person seems pretty reasonable, the other person seems very unavailable. Is it more exciting to go with the person who seems unavailable? Because if you got them, then it would prove something about you, seeking so much validation outside of yourself. Whereas this other person maybe seems kind of boring or flat. You just don't really click. A lot of that can be literal chemical reactions happening in your body based on the trauma response that it's sending. So it gives you a jolt of energy, even though that energy is high stress, your body feels it is exciting. So the one thing you'll need to do is to start stepping into situations that don't feel normal of what you've been through in the past. It's about trusting yourself. I highly recommend you read the book Existential Kink. I highly recommend you do the work of Byron Katie, which is basically to start turning around these beliefs so you can dissolve them. Is it true that you need to be rejected? Do you know that it's true? What if you are rejecting yourself, and that is one main reason why you keep finding rejection in the world? Do you deserve that? No. Are people really, really mean? Yes, they can be. They're working off their own hurts, and that is not a reflection of what you're capable of. So as you start to ask yourself and dissolve it and realize the power that you have, you changing the way you see yourself will change the way that you see the world, which automatically changes the world that you see. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, hit subscribe. If you haven't done so already, like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.